Remember, like the Reservoir Dogs dolls, and there was Matrix dolls.
Well, no, like later in like the 90s, they start coming out with like the collectors, dolls with like the cloth clothing. Because I remember you had the Elwood Blues one. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, like the Neo doll with the trench coat. I mean, that was the coolest. I'd much rather have that than the action figure that doesn't bend his knees backwards.
Yeah, I think that was like the whole like compromise. Where like the girl next door was like, "Come over and play with Barbies." It's like, all right, but I'm bringing mine.
I'm bringing Neo and Morpheus.
As I was saying, I was going to bring my Leatherface and Jason action figures.
Well, speaking of all of these great toys, is there a gift from the 90s that you guys have? It doesn't actually have to be the 90s. Brayden, I'm going to let you start because I know you said you already have one in your arsenal ready to go.
Oh yeah, I had a Turboman doll, and I saw it at I saw it at a Walmart before the Walmart tree, all like enormous, when it was just like a regular size Walmart, and being shocked that it existed.
So before it was the superstore monster it is today.
Yeah, just because I remember Dad bought it for me, but I just mainly remember just seeing it on the shelf and being shocked that it was real.
I know that blew my mind because I remember that Christmas and being like, "Holy crap! Did Mike reach into the movie? What the hell happened here?"
Last Action Hero style.
It's like, oh, I'll see what I can go through to get this action figure for my boy.
What about yourself, Nathan?
Well, it wasn't really in the 90s because it's like I'm a little bit older, so it was like more the late 80s or like, I don't know, mid to late 80s. But I remember the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Ooh.
It's like when I came into the living room that Christmas morning and just saw the big box and just, Kenner just blew it out of the park with those things. You could drip the slime through the top of it and it fall down on Venkman or Egon or.
That's cool.
Yeah, it even like house the Ecto. Like that was like my first experience with, various things you had to buy separately. Because it's like once you had like the car, you had to have the firehouse to put the car in. Well, once you got that, you have to have the big ghost that you can drop.
Oh, it's just like grill. It's like life as an adult.
You have all the accessories that you got to get for your doodad.
You have a car. Now you have to spend the same amount you paid for the car in tools to fix the car.
Don't forget your insurance and your gasoline. Upkeep. It's like the toys get much more complex the older you get. It's like I wish it was simple where it just had like 5 working joints.
Well, if anyone hasn't figured it out yet by our background and our discussion here, we're talking about the movie Jingle All The Way today, and I actually have some quick trivia here. So, first question, and either one of you can jump in. So, who is the actress who plays Howard's wife, Liz Langston? Is it A, Catherine O'Hara, B, Mary Steenburgen, C, Elizabeth Perkins, or D, Rita Wilson?
D.
You are correct. Turboman's red suit is modeled after which action hero? A, Daredevil, B, The Flash, C, Deadpool, or D, Iron Man?
Oh, man. Nate, do you know this?
Well, what was that second option? Is it Flash?
Mm-hmm. Yes, The Flash.
It looks more like The Flash to me.
That's correct. I guess Daredevil.
Okay.
When I was looking this up, I was like...
I thought Iron Man.
I think when he said Iron Man, I just wanted to leap in there like, I don't know. Because it looks kind of Iron Man-ish now. But
it looks like it's made out of iron.
Well, Nate, you were correct. It was The Flash. What is the name of Turboman's sidekick? Is it A, Buster, B, Bullseye, C, Booster, or D, Rudolph?
C, Booster.
Ding, ding, ding. Which actor plays the leader of the counterfeit Santa operation? I'll be disappointed if you guys don't know this. Is it A, James Belushi, B, Dan Aykroyd, C, Bill Murray, or D, Michael Keaton?
E, all of the above. No, it's Jim Belushi.
Yeah, it's totally Jim Belushi. It's like I'm going to go ahead and say that there is a lot of good roles that Jim Belushi has played, but I'm probably going to do a lot of hating on him in this video because it's one of his very easily hateable scuzzball figures.
Oh, I
the fact that he's dressed up as Santa. just makes it even more like horrendous. He's so good in the role, but at the same time, you don't want to like anybody else in this movie besides Arnold.
Yeah.
When Howard asks James Belushi Santa about the $300 price tag for the Turboman action figure, James Belushi Santa answers with no. A, candy canes, or B, lumps of coal, C, chocolate kisses, or D, elf mittens.
I think it was kisses.
That's correct. Chocolate kisses.
I wanted to say candy canes just because he's dressed like Santa Claus, but I'm pretty sure it was like, no, Hershey's Kisses.
That's correct. What is the name of Turboman's nemesis? Is it A, Tormentor, B, Dementor, C, Brainiac, or D, Emperor Evil?
It was that second one, I do believe.
Dementor, correct.
I was like trying to think. I was like, I know he's got the brain, but he's definitely not Brainiac.
Yeah, that's copyrighted.
Oops. What did the thieves spray paint on Howard's windshield? A, Merry Xmas, B, Happy Holidays, C, Holly Jolly, or D, Merry Christmas? Spelled out.
Wasn't it A? Merry Xmas?
Correct.
They
Which
didn't even know how to spell Christmas.
too lazy to spread the holiday
They
joy.
didn't have enough spray paint because they had to do it to several more cars.
That's it. That's exactly what it was. Which is one of the 5 phrases Turboman says. A, it's turtle time. B, to infinity and beyond. C, reach for the sky. Or D, it's turbo time.
It's turbo time.
Ding, ding, ding.
Turbo time.
This one's going to be a little harder. What toy does Myron tell Howard he wanted for Christmas as a child that he never got, but his neighbor got, who is now a millionaire?
Can I say it?
You
Just say it,
can.
man.
Yeah,
Say
you
it.
can.
Johnny 7? Isn't it Johnny 7?
A Johnny 7 OMA, correct.
Okay, yeah. This
Gotta
is
get
the
my
hottest
Johnny
toy
7.
since Johnny 7.
What action hero is depicted on Jamie's bedroom wall? Is it A, Turboman, B, Captain Marvel, C, Captain America, or D, Captain Hook?
C, Captain America.
That's correct.
I didn't even catch that. That's good on you, sir.
Well, I kept thinking if I was that kid, I would have preferred to have a Turbo Man one because that was the new one. But like, he's kind of stuck with the old Captain America one because that's like the only one that is, that it's available that you can buy like a whole wall art for.
I was actually
True.
shocked that he didn't have Turboman on his wall because there's a scene later where he's wearing Turboman pajamas and eating Turboman cereal.
I feel like if they made a sequel, then next year there would be a Turbo Man behind it. It's just not available yet.
Gotta have its revival phase.
This is the last trivia question. So to get into the Santa warehouse, complete the secret password. Jingle bells, and I'm not even going to give you options because I know you'll guess it.
Jingle bells, Batman smells.
You got it. You got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start diving right into the movie. Jingle All The Way is a family comedy film directed by Brian Levant, released theatrically on November 22nd, 1996. The story centers around a busy father, Howard Langston, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who struggles to buy his son, Jamie, played by Jake Lloyd, the popular Christmas toy of the season, Turboman. In a frantic race against time on Christmas Eve, Howard finds himself in a series of comedic misadventures involving rival fathers, including the overzealous Myron, played by Sinbad, who is also vying for the last Turboman doll in stores. The film explores themes of parenthood, consumerism, and the true spirit of Christmas. The VHS release date was October 28th, 1997, DVD October 17th, 2000, and it finally made it to Blu-ray on November 1st, 2011. The cast and crew. So your director is Brian Levant. Your producer is Chris Columbus. Screenplay was by Randy Cornfield. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Howard Langston. Sinbad plays Myron. Phil Hartman as Ted. Rita Wilson as Liz Langston. Jake Lloyd as Jamie Langston. And Robert Conrad as himself in a cameo. Jingle All The Way was released during the holiday season. It managed to gross approximately $129 million worldwide against a production budget of around $75 million. While it received not too bad. While it received mixed reviews from critics and audiences, it has since become a holiday favorite and cult classic viewed annually during the Christmas. Have either one of you watched this as an annual Christmas movie?
Yeah. Regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like one of my go-tos.
I had forgotten how much I liked this movie because when I first started watching it, I knew Sinbad was in it. I knew some of the action scenes that happened, but I forgot the lines. And the lines, I mean, I was in tears laughing through most of the
Yeah, it
movie.
has a really good script. Yeah.
Oh, it's just great for Arnie moments. Yeah.
Um, so in the opening scene of Jingle All the Way, we see a television commercial for the Turboman action figure, which is being watched by a young Jamie Langston, who excitedly jumps up and down as we see Turboman and Booster defeat the evil Dementor. Jamie's mother Liz tells him to turn the TV off and wash up for dinner. But Jamie wants to wait on his dad to get home. His mother assures him that his father is just busy at work, but he will be home soon. We are then introduced to Howard Langston, a successful but overworked businessman who is often preoccupied with his job. The scene takes place in a bustling office environment where Howard is seen rushing through his workday, highlighting his neglect of family time. As he prepares to leave for the day, his wife Liz calls him with an urgent reminder. Jamie's karate class is about to start. He assures her that he will be there, and as he hangs up with his wife, he says, "And remember, you're my number one customer," which is a line Howard uses on all of his clients.
You know, to be fair, I've been in one of those positions where you got to repeat a line over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I like answer the phone and it's like, "Hey, thank you for calling Papa John's Pizza. Can I interest you in a family special for $19.99?"
I feel that. I feel that.
Or
I
all
remember
the times that like I end like a conversation with family and I say, "Have a good day." That's literally what you say when you've been excused by a customer.
Yeah, no, like the horror in his eyes when he realizes that he said it to the wife. It's just like, yeah, he knows he screwed up.
Yep.
Right there.
Exactly. So Howard rushes to leave the office to get to Jamie's karate tournament and uses the emergency lane to avoid traffic. He thinks he will make it to Jamie's tournament in time, but is pulled over by a police officer on the way. The officer is not very friendly, and as Howard attempts to explain his situation, tells Howard to get out of his vehicle. The officer then gives Howard a sobriety test and asks him to say the alphabet. As Howard begins, the officer tells him he wants to hear it backwards.
ZYXWV.
I don't know if this is true, but I have heard this from somebody who was married to a police officer, and she told me that they do that to people expecting someone who is intoxicated to answer, "Officer, I can't even do that when I'm sober."
Well, I actually practice that when I leave a function and I've had a drink. I practice it on the way home, and I could do it.
I can do it too, and that's not really a test for me. It's like, hey man, check out what I can do. ZYXWV.
Yeah, and maybe if you do it backwards, at that point they just give you a piss test.
But no, it's like just I want to just go back and talk about like the beginning of the movie, the total Bandai ripoff. Like so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it just smacked of the era that this movie came from.
Yeah.
And this
especially like Dementor's minions that come out. I don't remember what they're called, but they're dressed pretty much like Power Rangers. Yeah.
The little short film they show at the beginning is definitely like a higher production value than Power Rangers was.
That's true. It was like
they had a really cool set. It was
theatrical.
And
yeah. I think I was kind of out on that phase when this movie came out. I was just about over the Power Ranger bump, but Brayden, I know you were still into it, so I feel like your demographic was what they were really pitching for. And
they succeeded.
They made an Arnold out of both y'all's dad.
If they put me in a focus group, they would have thought this thing would have made even more money.
Well, we cut to the tournament where Liz is sitting with her neighbor Ted, who is played by Phil Hartman, as they both watch their children in the tournament. Ted seems to be quite the ladies' man, as several other moms in the crowd are either giving him treats for helping fix a maintenance issue at their home or asking him to come over to fix leaky pipes, to which Ted replies he has the perfect tool for the job and winks. After the encounter with Officer Friendly, we see Howard still attempting to get to the tournament on time, but as he shows up, he sees everyone is already gone and he is too late.
Sucks, Howie.
Poor guy. Howard finally arrives home to join Liz and Jamie, but is surprised to see neighbor Ted on his roof putting up Christmas lights. Howard asks why he's on the roof, and Ted explains that he had some extra lights, so he wanted to spread Christmas joy and put some on Howard's house, who seems completely annoyed by this.
Tell you, Ted Flanders out there trying to outshine him at every moment.
Yeah, that's basically like a home invasion of some sort, right?
Well,
on your house.
we found out in the next scene he goes in and asks Liz. Liz gave Ted permission to put the lights on the house.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Mm.
Fright Night. Whenever I think the mom lets the vampire into the
It's
house.
like,
Must
hey,
have
how's
been
it
right
going?
for that.
Just up here doing your job for you.
Oh, pretty much. Oh gosh, he's love Phil Hartman, but he plays the annoying neighbor. Just chef's kiss, perfect.
I'll tell you, it's a masterwork.
He does not phone in not one single word of a line. Howard tries to explain what happened to his wife, but she tells him she's not the only one he let down and he needed to talk to Jamie. Howard tries to explain to Jamie why he missed the event, emphasizing that he had to work but genuinely wanted to be there. He assures Jamie that he loves him and that he will make it up to him. However, Jamie is still hurt by Howard's absence and feels disappointed. In an effort to boost Jamie's spirits, Howard brings up Christmas and asks Jamie what he would like for Christmas. And Jamie immediately perks up and essentially recites the Turboman action figure commercial verbatim. Howard promises to get him the Turboman doll to give him the best Christmas ever to make up for missing Jamie's tournament. The promise is a central theme as it sets up Howard's motivation for the rest of the movie. Howard is determined to prove to Jamie that he can be a good father and show him that he cares, even if he made a mistake by missing the tournament.
See, that's like, Arnie's downfall in this movie. He's just writing too many checks for his muscle-bound ass to cash. He has absolutely no cred left, so he's just going for the Hail Mary pass here. It's like, I've got to save the day, otherwise no one's going to love me. And it's just...
I think he realizes that later in the movie that the promises to his son are what matter the most. It's not even the gift. It's the promises that matter to him. So in the following scene, Howard excitedly tells Liz that he and Jamie had bonded over Turboman. Liz asks Howard if he got the Turboman action figure for Jamie that she had asked him to pick up 2 weeks ago. Even though Howard has not yet purchased the toy, he tells Liz that he did to put her mind at ease. Howard asks Liz, "You really think I didn't get the doll, that I wouldn't do something you told me to do?" Liz sighs and says, "Great, because it would be nearly impossible to find one now," and we quickly see the smile on Howard's face turn into intense horror. As a parent, Nathan, have you ever been in this situation where Sierra's asked you to get something for the girls and you forgot? And then you kind of maybe exaggerated or fibleted that you did it so she wouldn't worry?
We have usually been pretty on top of Christmas. It's like
Okay,
Santa
good.
Claus has always just been rocking and rolling.
You're always in communication with the big guy to make sure he's not getting them the same things you are. I gotcha.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm a lot prouder of myself because I remember my dad taking me on last minute runs on Christmas Eve to True Value or Wilburn's Hardware, just looking for some kind of crazy.
Swiss Army knives.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna get. I think Ashley would really like this hammer set. This looks really good. Screwdrivers. Jen needs screwdrivers.
Those screwdrivers are still around.
Yeah, it's true. Craftsman, man.
He bought gifts that were practical and that would last.
There was no going out. It's like, what do you want last minute? It's like, no, it's whatever the hell I decide to give you. That's what you can do.
That's actually this year is what I've decided to do because I can't. I've been giving out so many impractical gifts for so long that I never hear anything else about them. That all I asked for this year was tools, and I'm trying to just get tools for the people.
Oh no. Y'all be getting some good nostalgia from me this year.
Same here. Okay. So we cut to Jamie in the kitchen wearing his Turboman PJs and pouring himself a bowl of Turboman cereal. Howard begins to rush out the door, but Liz stops him and asks where he is going because it's Christmas Eve and they are going to the parade as a family later. Howard whispers to Liz that he is going to pick up the Turboman doll because he had accidentally left it at his office. He just keeps digging his hole deeper. Jamie then tells his dad the parade is going to be really cool this year because Turboman will be there and makes his dad promise that he'll be there, which Howard obliges. Again, cashing more checks, Nate.
Yeah. And I mean, how can you really deny him? He's sitting there in his novelty PJs, eating his novelty cereal, and is watching his novelty TV show. Honestly.
Makes sense to me.
It's turbo time. It's turbo time. I hear it in my sleep, Jamie. I need you to stop.
Well, Howard leaves the house as he is ambushed by a air quote reindeer. Ted is attempting to hold back. He apologizes, stating the deer had just gotten away from him. Howard asks why Ted has a reindeer, and he states, "You can never do too much to make a child's Christmas magical." Howard asks what will happen to Blitzen after Christmas, and Ted says he's been watching a family of deer down by Lake Minnetonka. Whatever.
It's like, have you never swam in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?
Minnetonka, thank you. And he would take the reindeer down there and set him free, and that the others will take him in as their own. Howard sarcastically says, "How touching." I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger's facial expressions during his banter with Ted. I just wanted to note that.
Well, no, I want to
They
know.
had great-
Even as a
they
middle
had great
schooler, I didn't trust
chemistry.
Ted.
They really did. They played off of each other really well.
Incredible chemistry.
Howard reaches down to pet the deer and it snaps at him. Ted says to Howard, "The reindeer is usually very friendly and there must be something about Howard the reindeer didn't like. Aftershave or something." Howard gets into his SUV and Ted asks where he's rushing off to. He tells Ted he is going to pick up a gift. Ted then asks with a poo-eating grin, "Nothing like waiting till the last minute, huh?" Then continues by asking what Howard is getting. He tells Ted he is going to pick up a Turboman action figure, and Ted, with his poo-eating grin widening, says that he got his son Johnny a Turboman months ago, and it's nestled safely under Ted's Christmas tree. Ted also tells Howard it may get icy later, so he may want to throw some chains on his tires. Howard mumbles, "Maybe I should put some chains around you," and drives away.
Cue the Christmas music.
We cut to Howard, who is just starting his hunt for the action figure of his son's dreams, and he joins a crowd of parents waiting outside of a toy store. Howard forces his way to the front to see the associate on the other side of the glass, who points at the store hours, which say they do not open until 9 a.m. Howard looks at his watch and shouts, 2 minutes? You're going to wait to open over 2 minutes? Look at all these people out here. His pleas do no good as the crowd pushes Howard away from the door and tell him to get to the back of the line. Here he meets Myron, a postal worker and fellow father out looking for the same prize as Howard, a Turboman action figure. Myron, who seems to be dealing with a little bit of holiday stress, begins to rant about letters to Santa, commercialism, and how it's a conspiracy against parents everywhere. Myron states he knows about the stuff because he took half a semester of psychology.
And he watches television.
Which
so.
reminds me of when Brayden pointed out that in Son-in-Law, Pauly Shore states that he took half a semester of CPR.
CPR training.
What's with these people taking half a semester of something and thinking they're an expert? Okay.
This is messed up, man. I want to transfer.
So Myron states, okay, yeah, we told that. He continues by saying the greedy corporations make your kids feel like a piece of garbage if their father who works 24/7 delivering mail so you can make an alimony payment to a woman who slept with everyone at the post office except for him. Then he continues his rant about toys, saying they all break and the pieces come off because they are cheap plastic. He then says he would like to go into one of those offices and just grab one of them until their eyes bug out. Suddenly, Myron realizes he has grabbed a woman in the crowd during a speech, and he has his arm wrapped around her neck. He releases the woman and tells her she shouldn't wear furs.
I'm telling you, it's like this. It's such a fantastic character. He's probably the reason I don't work for the Postal Service. You know,
you have to go in postal. Yeah.
This is one of these things where I'm like, half the things that he and Howard, Arnold Schwarzenegger, do, I'm like, they would be arrested for assault.
Oh, so much. And it's just like as everything progresses, you know, you just get to know Myron more and more, and it's like this is a deeply disturbed character. But I'm sure we'll get to that shortly.
We'll get to all that fun stuff. The toy store opens, and parents knock over the store associate as he opens the door and trample over the poor guy, and they leave footprints on his face. The adults push and shove one another into shelves filled with toys as they all rush to get the toy their child desires most. Howard and Myron find the Turboman merch, but find all the Turboman action figures are sold out. The only thing available is Booster, and Myron asks, "Booster? Who wants Booster?"
Exactly.
Howard then asks one of the associates if they have any Turboman dolls in the back. Myron echoes he too is in search of a Turboman. The associate begins to laugh hysterically and then pulls another associate to the side and tells him the gentleman's situation as the second associate joins him in laughter. They then share the good spirits with a random customer who then shouts to all the other customers in the store who then begin belly laughing in response. The associates, still laughing, say they are all set out of Turboman, but they do have his super sidekick booster, which causes the second associate to fall to the ground in laughter.
See, and this made me think when I was a kid, it's like, are all grown-ups just total buttheads during Christmas time?
Have you never
Yes.
been to a day after Thanksgiving sale?
Not until I was an adult, and then I found out adults really are buttheads.
People will push you, shove you, tase you, pull knives on you. I mean, none of that happened to me, thank goodness. But you watch the news, and it happens every year.
Yeah, your
Oh, no,
soul
it's like
slowly dissipates after puberty.
Oh no, it's crazy because after you work like a couple of Black Fridays in retail, or even like a Christmas Eve, it's horrifying. It's like people are willing to cut your fingers off for stuff.
Howard grabs both the associates by their shirt collars and asks them where their Christmas spirit is. They stop laughing and grin while looking terrified. Howard says he knows there must be a Turboman around there somewhere, and one of the associates tells him the last action figure just left the store with a woman wearing a fur coat. Howard rushes to leave, but is stopped by Myron, who knocks him into a stack of booster toys. Howard gets revenge by tripping Myron with a remote control car. Howard runs from the store and sees the woman in her car, Turboman action figure sitting in the rear window, and begins chasing after the car. The woman, seeing Howard in her rearview mirror, speeds away in terror. The next scene. Sorry,
go ahead.
Our
first, I think this was our first, I guess, introduction to the slapstick that's about to begin, because the physical humor just keeps going up and up from here.
The next scene continues to show how Howard frantically running through the city, showing a montage of nothing but store clerks laughing while holding up booster action figures and Dementor toys. We also see Howard calling multiple toy stores using the yellow pages and a payphone, both a little nod to 90s nostalgia past. Cut to Liz and Ted in the Langston kitchen as Liz bakes sugar cookies and Jamie plays with Ted's son Johnny. Ted tells Liz to take a little time for herself and go take a shower, and he'll take care of the sugar cookies. Liz hesitates, but she obliges. How weird if someone just came into your home and they're like, go take a shower, I'll take care of everything. How cringe.
Why don't you come down in a towel and I'll have you some cookies, sugar.
Howard calls home to speak to Liz, and Ted answers the phone, informing him he is taking care of everything and Liz is upstairs taking a shower. He also can't get enough of her cookies.
Oh no, it's like that was some of the best dialogue. Oh,
these cookies are so good. I have to get the recipe.
Put the cookie down.
Howard and Myron are outside talking. Myron asks Howard to be partners for the day and help one another to find a Turboman toy. Howard declines. The two overhear a man running and shouting that the store around the corner just got a supply of Turboman dolls in. Howard jumps in his SUV, kicks it into reverse, and hits a police officer's motorcycle. The same officer who pulled Howard over on the way to Jamie's karate tournament earlier.
See, what are the freaking odds of this? I mean, this isn't like even a medium-sized town, it seems.
They're in Minnesota somewhere, so it's got to be a big city.
As I say, it's quite the burg, and like he hit the same cop. I'm not saying like it's a stretch, but at the same time, it's like even that cop's got to be like, you son of a...
Well, Howard eventually does find the toy store where where they are having a lottery for the remaining dolls, and the price has doubled. Everyone is told to get in a single file line and will be handed a ball with a number on it. But chaos ensues. The buckets are knocked out of the employees' hands, and the adults fight, literally tooth and nail, for the numbered balls. Howard scores a ball, but is tased by Myron, who takes it. Howard shouts to the people that Myron has two of them, and he is tackled, dropping the ball, and it falls over the edge to the lower half of the mall. Howard sees the ball land in a girl's stroller and chases her through the mall until he catches up to her in a ball pit and tries to get the ball from her. The moms in the play area call Howard Howard a pervert and begin to beat him with their purses.
I remember laughing my ass off as a kid.
I'm not a pervert. I just want a Turboman doll.
I know. He's like, I swear, I'm not talking to children.
Next, we see the James Belushi Santa Claus who tells Howard he has access to a Turboman doll. Enticed, Howard reluctantly agrees and drives to the air quote North Pole workshop, where Howard sees dozens or more Santas and elves running around assembling packages and wrapping gifts. Footnote, the password to get into the warehouse was Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, as Nathan got that one right earlier.
Yeah.
The Turbo...
Jim Belushi in this role is just so bad.
It's
never trust Jim Belushi, especially Jim Belushi in a Santa suit with like Murray the Midget.
I don't know
if to say that.
I don't know if that was his character's name, we would be allowed to say that.
Well,
we have to double check that.
Well, I know the guy playing his elf assistant was he was on Seinfeld. I can't remember his name. When they finally get into the warehouse and everything, it's just
in the song.
I think I'm gonna have to edit this out. I think we're not allowed to talk this way. Okay.
Oh no.
the song, the little boy that Santa Claus forgot.
Oh my gosh, the one that James Belushi is singing is
in my head for days.
The little boy, the Santa Claus.
I need to look it up because I was like walking around saying that to people at work. It's like the little boy that Santa Claus forgot. I was like, wow, what is it about the Belushi and their ability to just pipe these fantastic songs and get them stuck together?
So the Turboman costs Howard $300, and as soon as he opens it, he realizes it is not the English-speaking version, and upon further inspection, the doll begins to fall apart. Howard calls them sleazy con men in red suits. This causes a fight to ensue between the Santas, Howard, and a couple of elves.
And it's fantastic. I love it when the gigantic Santa Claus comes out to fight.
Like,
who is
like
who was played by a famous wrestler. I got it.
I was like Buff Kringle. That's it. No, it's like that whole scene where it's just like, I don't know, you walk in, it's like, this looks like half a toy shop and half a crack house. What's going on in here? Just Santa Claus as an elf just running around, and then once the fight breaks out, it's just like, man, Arnold's gonna have to fight his way out of all of these people dressed like Santa Claus. Like, could I kick 100 Santa Claus butt to save my own ass?
All right, the wrestler was Big Show.
Yep.
Was it the Big Show?
It was Big Show.
Nice. No, like this kind of cracks me up because these people are not out and about like dealing with the commoners, like no the public, I guess would be the best word for that. Is like they're like behind closed doors doing stuff, but they're still wearing costumes. These are dedicated theme criminals.
Oh yeah. As
I was watching it, I was like, they don't have to wear that stuff. No one knows who they are. It's just so weird that this entire warehouse full of evil Santa Claus and elves are actually that dedicated. Oh no, sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. After the fight we were just talking about, the police arrive to bust the warehouse, and Howard sees a fake badge. He grabs one and declares he is Detective Hardling, and he had been investigating that operation for months, and they ruined it with their sloppy bust, and that he'll be telling the commissioner. I can't believe that got him out of that.
I know it wasn't even close to Arnie's best acting, but it's like, I am going to have you busted. You're going to be walking the beat downtown.
Howard runs out of gas and pushes his car to a nearby diner.
Which is kind of a feat because I didn't realize until I watched this that he breaks down on a bridge and pushes that thing to the middle of the city. Or inner city at the very least. Well, so I was like, damn, Arnie really had to huff that SUV by himself.
That should have been his whole ad for governor.
He pumped that SUV up, okay? We cut to Ted showing his reindeer off to the neighborhood, getting hit on per usual. His son Johnny is talking to Jamie and tells him that when his parents got a divorce, it did wonders for his dad. Kids don't talk like that, first off. Anyway, it sounds like something Oprah would say. Upset, Jamie runs back to the house just in time to answer a call from his dad. Howard asks to speak with Jamie's mother, but Jamie continues to ask his dad if he is still coming to the parade, and that he should keep his promise because Turboman says to always keep your promises if you want to keep your friends. Howard shouts at his son that he has had it up to here with Turboman and he does not want any advice from Turboman. Howard immediately tries to apologize, but Jamie, now very upset, shouts back at his father he doesn't know anything about keeping promises because he doesn't keep any of his, and he hangs up the phone.
I'm telling you, it's one of those things where you hear something 15 times in the same conversation, and I get where Jamie's coming from, but a parent don't want to just get guilt tripped, and then you explode, and then you got to backpedal, and it's a delicate dance.
I get it. I get it.
My heart breaks for Arnie, but at the same time, he should have been a better dad from the get-go.
Exactly. And
this came out like a year apart from the year before Liar Liar. It's like the exact same parent-son dynamic.
Damn, it's true.
Damaged dads were very in the
workaholic,
late 90s.
Yeah. So they had to like learn. This is the movie that taught dads to stop phoning it in. Like mid-90s, everything turned around.
Back at the diner, Myron runs into Howard and offers him a shot to put in his coffee as a truce. They discuss still trying to find the doll, and Howard confides he just yelled at his son. He tells a story of a clubhouse he built for Jamie that made him so excited. He played in the clubhouse all day, and he was the hero that day. As Myron tells the story of his next-door neighbor, who is now a millionaire CEO because he got what he wanted for Christmas, and Myron never did. Myron turns into Jamie before Howard's very eyes and says, "Here's to you, Dad," and takes a big swig from the flask. Suddenly...
Like a shot from the future. It's like, no, Jake Lloyd, no!
Suddenly, there is an announcement on the radio. A local station is offering a chance to win a Turboman action figure. Just call in with the names of Santa's reindeer. Howard and Myron fight each other to get inside the payphone booth. Howard wins, but Myron has his hand inside the door, flicking Howard's ear as he dials. It's just that last cling of desperation to do anything to try to win.
Hey, does anybody know if you can still buy that whiskey that they're drinking? It's called Old Homestead.
I have
never heard of it.
I'm looking it up. There's like old bottles on eBay from like the 40s.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know if I can't
Christmas
find anything
classic,
apparently. Old Homestead.
For a postal service worker, he had some expensive liquor then.
You need to get a P.O. box and get our listeners to just send us in cases of Old Homestead if they can find it.
It's like, if you want to send us some liquor, please send a P.O. box.
We're seeking some Old Homestead.
Also, we get like a bottle of Ripple in the mail. It was like, best I could do. Big fan.
Howard is indeed the first caller, but before he can answer, Myron rips the cord from the phone. Howard slams Myron onto the table, who holds the disconnected phone to his ear, screaming, 911, 911. The owner of the diner tells them the radio station is just 2 blocks away, and the two race out the door, fighting each other to the radio station the entire way. Howard reaches the station, kicks down the door where he shouts the reindeer's name at the DJ, played by Martin Mull. Before the DJ can say a word, Myron comes bursting in and says he has a homemade explosive device that he has found in his mailbag. The DJ explains there is no Turboman at the studio, that it was a misunderstanding. The station was giving away a gift certificate for a Turboman when one became available in stock. Myron begins another one of the rants he has become famous for thus far in the film, including shouting at the DJ for laughing at his postal carrier outfit. While doing so, he accidentally lets go of the package, which hits the ground and begins to play music. Howard opens it to reveal it's only a music box. The police enter the building, so Howard and Myron run for it. Myron goes to the elevator where he is stopped by a group of police officers. Howard tries to take the staircase, but surprise, Nathan, his favorite police officer who pulled him over before the tournament and whose bike Howard hit earlier, is blocking Howard's exit and asks him, "You just can't seem to stay out of trouble, can you?"
Now, what makes me mad is I can't imagine he gave much of a description, the radio DJ. So the cop just comes around the corner, sees Arnold Schwarzenegger, pulls a gun on him, and is like, I automatically assume that you're guilty. Back it up.
Yeah, all that Martin Mull's character has time to say when he dials 911 is, yes, there's a crazy person who's trying to break into my studio, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger kicks the door open and he goes, "Help!" and he hangs up. That's all he got out.
At least Officer Unfortunate didn't pick the black guy. That was every other officer in the radio station. He's just like, no, equal opportunity. You get back over there with that other crazy guy.
To be fair,
We'll determine which one of you is it.
that officer had 2 bad experiences with Howard earlier, though, so he was already pretty biased.
Yeah, no.
This whole section is very like film noirish. It's just all gray area.
Well, Myron and Howard are in the. On that note, Myron and Howard are in the lobby with the officers, and Myron pulls another package from his carrier bag and declares it's a homemade explosive device.
Oh, Myron.
This distraction gives Howard enough time to get away with the gift certificate as Myron slips back into the elevator. Howard's favorite officer inspects the box, claiming he spent over a decade on the bomb squad. He shakes the package. The package declares it's harmless, opens the package, and it explodes. I love this next part. As Myron runs, mine too. As Myron runs, he looks back after hearing the explosion and states, "That was a real bomb? This is a sick world we're living in with sick people."
So great.
I wonder if that was improvised.
I don't know.
I really feel
It was
the second half
perfect.
of that line feels improvised.
Howard returns to his SUV with a gas can to find his car has been ripped apart and the words "Merry Xmas," Reagan got that one right earlier, are spray painted onto the windshield.
The cops are like 2 blocks away, and somehow Howie's car just gets completely ripped off and brought
Well,
down.
they were busy doing a.
They were too busy trying to.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. They just had a bomb go off downtown.
They're being distracted.
Cut to a tow truck dropping Howard and what's left of his SUV at home. Howard sees Ted putting the star on top of his tree from outside of his house. Liz
pissed me off too.
Liz enters the room and tells Ted to take the star down because it's Howard's job, and he puts the topper on every year. Ted says it's too bad he isn't as adamant about spending time with his family on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
She looks a little insulted by that at first, but then it's almost like she thinks about it for a second and she's like, "You're right."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're right, you're right. And you're right.
Yep. It's at this point, full of rage towards Ted and his holiday stress meter on overload, Howard remembers that underneath Ted's tree is a Turboman for Johnny just ripe for the picking. Howard breaks into Ted's house and sees the gift wrapped in Turboman wrapping paper addressed to Johnny from your very loving father. Howard picks up,
I just hate Ted forever.
So annoying, I know. Howard picks up the package, which prompts the toy to say it's turbo time. Howard is holding the holy grail of toys, the action figure of action figures. Howard is holding the very key to his son's heart. Howard smiles gleefully and heads for the door, but he sees Christmas carolers standing outside of Ted's house, as well as Ted and Liz standing outside of Howard's home watching the carolers sing. Howard quickly decides to use the back door to sneak out, but is confronted by the reindeer in the backyard. About 2 minutes of ridiculous hilarity ensues as the reindeer chases Howard back into the house, causing destruction throughout, including broken doors and a fire. Howard kicks a beheaded Christ statue head, which is on fire, that goes flying out the window at the feet of the carolers.
It's like, screw Ted's house.
This prompts Ted and Liz to run to Ted's house, where they catch Howard holding the Turboman action figure. Howard attempts to tell Liz the truth, but Liz says she's had enough of her husband's stories and his versions of the truth. She tells him she is going to take Jamie to the parade and asks Ted if he will drive them. That's just salt in the wound for Howard.
Oh, I know. Like marriage on the rocks, and Ted gets handed the ball. It's just like, damn it, Howie, you got to do something.
Ted's fake smile fades as he tells Howard he won't be able to bench press his way out of this one, which was kind of a cheesy line, but I get where he was going with it.
Yeah, it can't all be gold. Yeah.
Howard is charged again by the reindeer this time, but he punches it, knocking it out cold.
Oh, it's so awesome. Animal abuse at its finest.
The following scene shows Howard and the deer sharing some booze and making amends.
Hey, wait, is this a throwback to Conan the Barbarian when he punches the camel in the face?
Yeah, it could entirely be. It's like, hey, Arnie, we're going to have a reindeer run at you. I got this. I've done this before.
Well, this moment with this reindeer is where Howard finally realizes what Nathan was talking about in the beginning about cashing all these checks that he could, or writing all these checks he could not cash, and realizes he didn't get the doll, he didn't make the karate tournament, but he could still go to the parade. He could keep a promise. At the parade, Howard runs into his favorite officer, literally sending a tray of coffees into the air and landing on the officer who chases Howard through the city.
I'm telling you, it's just like, what the hell?
I know. What are the chances?
He blew up like not even a half hour ago, and now he's
and his
back.
hair is like perfect condition. There's no more smoke on his face.
It's like I took a shower. I'm fine.
Howard enters a random building to escape the officer, but is quickly mistaken for the Turboman replacement actor in the Christmas parade. As they get him dressed and ready, Howard tries to explain he is not the guy they are looking for, but it all happens so fast. The last thing Howard is told is they think they have worked out all of the kinks and that the actor he is replacing was finally showing brain activity, which is a good sign.
I tell you, it's the beginning of the third act magic. It's like when the movie really kicks it into third gear.
Meanwhile, Jamie and Johnny have met up with friends at the parade while Liz and Ted sit in Ted's car. Ted tells... Oh, sorry.
This part, dropping the kids off at the parade and just letting them find their way through the crowd
would never happen today.
It's like,
I don't think it would happen then. My parents didn't let me do that then.
I was like, you just walk the crowd over there, kids, and I'll find you later.
Yeah, it's literally, I think that's a writer's invention just so Liz and Ted can have this next scene alone together.
It's movie magic. So the next scene that you're talking about is where they're sitting in Ted's car, Liz and Ted, and Ted tells Lizzie, that she deserves better. He tells her they can't fight their feelings for each other anymore and leans in to kiss her. Liz grabs a thermos full of eggnog and hits Ted in the head with it, then exits the vehicle.
Yeah, this is such a satisfying
If you look at her face, Rita Wilson, when she's getting out, it looks like she's trying so hard not to laugh. So hard not to laugh.
Well, you see like what Phil Hartman looks like when he gets
back up.
Yes. Eggnog, his glasses are warped. It's like, it's something I said.
Back at the parade, Howard in the Turboman suit is raised up on a mechanical platform that leads him to the top of the float in the Christmas parade with his trusty sidekick, Booster. A little nervous at first, Howard quickly embraces his role as Turboman, waving, flexing, and saluting for the crowd. His pal Booster reminds him that he needs to start looking for a kid in the crowd who will be the winner of a special edition Turboman doll, cut to the doll emerging from its very own tiny platform on the float. Howard leans down to pick up the toy, admiring for a moment and grinning like a child on Christmas morning himself, holding the doll in the air as he shouts, "Yes! Yes!"
See, and that's why we need to give Arnie an honorary Oscar while he's still able to do stuff like this.
This scene was great. He gave it his all. This is one of the scenes. It was an action scene. It was great.
This might be the reason they gave him the role as Mr. Freeze the next year.
Have either of you ever been in a situation like this where like a relative asks you for something that's hard to get and you really did find it and you, after all this searching, and you had that moment of yes, yes?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We're just like, yes,
I got one.
Well, while we're still in the beginning of this like parade scene, I want to point out there is no way that this entire opening has played out before this parade starts. I mean, you figure it's wintertime, gets dark about 5 o'clock. Then there is absolutely no chance that any of this montage-ready stuff happened between the time that Howie left the house and the time they're all gathering together. It seems like so crazy that I don't know. I guess it's one of those like suspension of disbeliefs, but either that or Howie hit the time warp. It's astounding. I've been shopping.
On a building high above the parade, we see the actor who is playing Dementor waiting for his cue to hijack the float. However, Myron gets to him first, wrapping garland around the actor's neck and pulling him off camera. Back on the float, Booster urges Turboman to give the toy out so they can be prepared for their next scene, which is a showdown with the Mentor. Howard sees his son in the crowd and points to him. Jamie and Johnny argue back and forth about whom he is pointing at, just as the sound is turned up on Turboman's microphone and he shouts, "Jamie!" Jamie is shocked that Turboman knows his name and quickly runs to the float. I would immediately start screaming foul if the Turboman knew the kid's name.
I know, it just seems a bit crooked. Yeah, at least now. But now at this point, Jamie's going to get the complete Turboman experience. So it's.
Yep. He asks Turboman how he knows his name, and Turboman says, "Well, Jamie, I am your fa," I think, which was an homage or a nod to Star Wars, and is cut off. And is cut off as Myron, dressed as Dementor, lands on the float. The crowd boos him as Myron shouts at them to shut up, shut up. Booster tells Myron to stick to the script. Myron tells Booster no one likes him and punches him, which knocks Booster off the float onto the ground. A group of children come and begin to kick and punch him, screaming, "We hate you, Booster. We don't like you."
Which
Oh,
makes me
no.
wonder, is this like part of the whole storyline?
Jamie runs to get away from the chaos, but is captured by Myron. Jamie tells Turboman to use his disc shooter. Howard looks on the suit and finds them and begins to shoot discs at Myron, hitting him several times in the head. Until he finally falls backwards, and the facial expressions that Sinbad was giving and were just in that slow motion were just cracking me up.
I think he's like thinking, "Is like, how is he so good instantly?"
Howard tells Jamie he will help him find his mother, but is quickly attacked by Dementor's minions. What were they called again, Brayden?
The Dominion. Oh shoot! We called them the putty people.
The power.
The putty people.
The Power Ranger looking people.
Yeah. I don't know the actual names in the movie.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I thought.
Go get them, minions.
They ask Howard why he doesn't know the choreography, even though it looked to me like they were being super physically violent with him with their kicks and their punches. Jamie runs to escape, and Myron chases him, eventually leading the two of them onto a rooftop. During this chase, Howard, who has activated his rocket launcher in the suit, flies uncontrollably cartoon style, crashing through buildings, flying through a banner, and going headfirst into a brick wall. Jamie climbs up a Christmas tree decoration on the rooftop with Myron following. The tree falls, and both Jamie and Myron fall through it. Both barely... Oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like, Sinbad is seriously willing to risk a child's life for this toy doll.
And his own life.
Like, I don't know. I don't think Myron is making it home for the holidays.
I don't think Myron's elevator goes all the way to the top. Both barely clinging on and hanging high above the city. Howard tries to grab Jamie's hand, but misses and ends up on the ground. Jamie shouts for Turboman to use his turbo ring. He tosses it at Myron, but misses. Myron grabs the doll out of Jamie's backpack, and the ring comes back and hits Myron, causing him to lose his grip and fall onto a float below that luckily breaks his fall.
I'm telling you, it's like this Turboman suit is almost like a oh no, it reminds me of the guy for Tom Waits' character from Mystery Men. It's like if you made like a non-lethal Iron Man suit. It's the greatest non-lethal mech suit ever.
I just don't even see Macy's spending the kind of money you'd spend on a suit like this for their parade.
I tell you, it's just like turbo rings, like turbo discs, jet packs. I mean, they should be doing the stuff for the United States government.
Well, Jamie loses his grip and begins to fall. Howard reactivates his turbo booster and grabs Jamie just in time. The two find Liz, who thanks Turboman. Jamie tells his mom that he wishes his dad could have been there to see him fly with Turboman. He says that his dad is mad at him because they had a fight and that he yelled at his up and tells Jamie his father loves him very much and he is his favorite person in the whole world. Jamie asks Turboman how he knows that, and Howard takes off the helmet, revealing himself to his wife and his son.
See, how did neither one of these people realize that Howie is in the turbo suit? I mean, Myron put it together and he's known him for an afternoon.
Yeah,
these people live with him. Too. It's like, you look and you're built exactly like my 6'5" husband.
Howard's bestie, the officer, brings the Turboman action figure and hands it to Jamie. Howard's back is turned to him, and the officer tells him that they need a man like him on the force and salutes Turboman. Howard turns around and salutes the officer back, which seems to put him in shock. Howard apologizes for the bike and the coffee and the bomb. And then turns back to hug his family. Myron is being escorted off in cuffs, asking the officers how he is going to look his son in the eye on Christmas morning without that toy. But I'm pretty sure his son will be more upset his dad's in jail. It being
Little
Christmas
Myron
Eve.
Jr., I am so sorry, but your dad's going away for trying to blow up a radio station and child endangerment and like mass vandalism.
To
In
the
fact,
city, yeah.
it's like I'm pretty sure he's going to be in Arkham Asylum for quite a while.
I don't think you have to worry about looking him in the eye on Christmas morning because I don't think you'll be together. Regardless, Jamie sees this and gives Myron the Turboman and tells him that his son can have it. Howard asks if he's sure, and Jamie says yes because he has the real Turboman at home.
Aww.
So after all of the letdowns and Howard finally coming through once, he's a superhero to his son.
That's what I'm saying. Is just like this guy has been a terrible father this kid's entire life, and then like in the course of one afternoon, he just completely turns it around.
Did you both watch the post-credit scene?
Oh no,
I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene. Is this a Marvel movie? What's this?
It's they're like, I think it's that evening, and I think that they've taken the star down on the tree, and they're finally just like I think that Arnie's actually putting it up the star on the tree now, and Rita Wilson asks him what he got her for Christmas, and the camera does like a Sam Raimi Evil Dead like push in on his face, breathing in absolute horror.
Oh wow! Well, that was super fun.
That was really good. Just to have a good, parody movie of like the whole craze of, Tickle Me Elmos and Furbies and Cabbage Patch Kids.
And yeah.
It really kind of just takes the sting, like especially after you experience Black Friday. Just pop in Jingle All the Way, and then it's like, oh, it's not just me. At least I didn't have to go get tackled by evil Santas and elves and like sinister, crazy postal workers.
Well, if you guys out there listening enjoyed today's episode and you've had your experience where you either wanted your very own toy just as bad as Jamie wanted this Turboman, or you're a parent of the 90s who had to run out and search for one of these toys, we still want to hear from you guys. So email us at the 90s Rewind Report at gmail.com. You can share your story there. If you want to be on the podcast, we can arrange that and make it happen for our very special podcast Christmas episode.
They can also send us old Homestead.
Brayden will not turn down any old Homestead. Actually, any liquor if you send it.
I'll
he
try
would
it
be grateful.
on the show. I'll try it on the show.
Like,
you can hear my gag reflexes live.
Oh my gosh. On that note, Nate, would you like to send us out for this episode?
Sure. Merry Christmas, nostalgians. Hope you enjoyed our talks of Teds and Turbomen. And if there are ever a toy that you made your parents jump through hoops to get merry up your Christmas morning, tell us about it down below. And remember, put a cookie down. All right.